Let's get a feel of what the atmosphere in Rivers looks like. Correspondent Uche Okoro is live for us. Uche, what's happening there following the swearing-in of the sole administrator?
It's been a very long day of waiting, a long day of anticipation, expecting to witness the arrival of the administrator to touchdown in Port Harcourt. But as I speak to you, the wait is still on. Of course, we were following the development from Port Harcourt when we got wind of the information that he had been sworn in. After that, everyone was we were all on our toes, expecting his next destination to be Port Harcourt, or from the villa he would be going to the airport to arrive Port Harcourt. As I speak to you, that hasn't happened. Initially, we were told that a convoy had left the government house to the Port Harcourt International Airport to pick him up, but then shortly after that we heard a different story as well. So basically it's been a very long day of waiting and anticipating and hoping to everyone waiting to see the arrival of the administrator, and of course see how the first day of day one of state of emergency is going to look like. But aside that, Port Harcourt has been calm. It was calm. Yes, last night it's been calm all day as well. There's been no protests apart from persons whose opinions are expressing their opinions. So basically, it's been an uneventful day here in River State.
There's the big question of where the suspended governor is, Uche, amidst rumors of being under house arrest alongside his family. What more do you know about this?
There is no truth to that, to the best of my knowledge. I'm in regular touch with officials of the River State government, and nobody has confirmed that information to me. So at this point, I would say that there is no truth to that. As a matter of fact, I was told that earlier this morning the governor was even in the government's house. Though his whereabouts at this time I cannot say. But what I cannot confirm to you is that he has been arrested. If he has been under any form of restraint or duress, I certainly would know, because I have been in regular touch with those who would know. So as at this point, Ifemi, I will tell you that there is no truth to that. Earlier today, the only thing, what looked like an incident at the government house today was the fact that military personnel who were earlier stationed at the entrance of the government house they prevented access into the government house in the early hours of this morning, and I also observed that access was granted to people from about the hours of 11 a.m. and 12 noon. That's when the gates of the government house were open for people to gain access. Aside that, nothing out of the ordinary has happened. Security personnel at some point in the day all left the government house, and both those who were inside and those who were outside. So the situation has been pretty calm, even though I'm also aware that right now inside the government's house you have a mixed deployment of police personnel and Department of State Service personnel as well. A number of a few members of the old guards were redeployed and replaced with new persons across board. So we have a mixture of both those who former security personnel and a few new faces as well, keeping the peace in government's house.
The governor's reaction to the state of emergency has been quite modest, calling for peace and calm amongst the people. But what are you hearing from other critical stakeholders, especially those militants who are threatening violence should he was impeached before now?
And Ifemi, I can tell you that, of course, you don't, as at this time, one would expect a voice of reason to prevail. The major contenders in this dispute, it is not surprising that the narrative has been significantly toned down. All right, so it is not surprising. We do not expect any of the parties like the governor to come out still breathing fire. That would definitely not be helping his cause or that of the state. Everyone has simply been expressing their opinions in the media, on social media. That's where the strong opinions have been voiced. But basically, no one has actually come out, openly to declare war or to call for outright resistance to the state of emergency. As I mentioned earlier, when I responded to your first question, there's been no protest. Of course, everyone expected that, people who are angry and upset would have hit the streets this morning to protest. But, that hasn't happened. So I think the residents of the state have been able to, those who are aggrieved have been able to successfully rein their emotions in and keep themselves in check. There's been no breakdown of law and order at all. As for the militants, we haven't heard from them. From those who made threats, we haven't heard anything from them as at this time. Of course, you know that Governor Siminalayi Fubara hasn't been, in quote, removed, hasn't been impeached. He was merely suspended. Perhaps, maybe that's the reason why we haven't heard anything from these militant groups or armed agitators who have made threats. But right now, he remains Governor Siminalayi Fubara, not former Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Rivers State for now is calm. We believe there is a lot of anticipation that tomorrow the former Chief of Naval Staff would arrive Port Harcourt. We've been waiting all day. We are still waiting. I will continue to keep vigil, but if it doesn't happen today, we expect that it's going to happen tomorrow.
Senior correspondent Uche Okoro live for us in Port Harcourt. Thanks for the update there, Uche.